I'm inside and I saw the Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 28. Will the real Martian please stand up? It is directed by Montgomery Pittman, written by Rod Serling. If you haven't seen this episode, I'll spoil it for you. This episode starts for following two sheriffs as they go into a diner. There's a blizzard outside, and there's 7 people in the diner. Not including the people who work at the diner. There's a bus driver with 6 passengers there, including himself. And so there's another person extra. And a UFO has crash landed, so that's what the cops are here for. They're here to investigate. There's evidence that they went to this cafe, and so they're like, oh, well, who's done did it? Pretty much the rest of the episode is everybody in that cafe is trying to figure out who the Martian is, including spouses questioning their own spouses. Maybe the Martian transformed into my husband or something. So we got hysterical women being scared. We also got the men being very loud towards each other. I like the pace in which they talk at each other. There's a ton of back and forth, and I feel like it's a big one take, even though it's not a big one take. But there are long, extended scenes of them arguing with each other, trying to figure out who is the Martian for real for real. As the tension grows in this episode, I'm like, oh man, this bus driver, he has to be somewhere at a specific time, and he's going to be stuck here now until probably the end of the night. And so he's like, well, I'm going to freak out. It's so funny how nobody questions the bus driver. They question literally everyone else except for the bus driver. And guess who the Martian was? Well, the roads clear up, and then they have a big old drive, and then the Martian comes back, and guess who it was? The bus driver. He comes back, he's like, oh man, everybody crashed. And then he starts to reveal himself. He's like, oh, I have this third arm, and I was just trying to test the Earth population to see if we could invade this place. All that fun jazz. And then the person he's talking to, I would think is insane, but also, why would the Martian be talking to him in the first place? I just feel like this reveal is strictly for the television viewer's sake. It doesn't necessarily make sense why a Martian would just tell some random person. Especially if you're trying to make sure that humanity is in this place where they can just be invaded by Martians. If you're going to tell some random person, hey, I'm a Martian and we're going to invade you, wouldn't that random person go around and start telling literally everyone? There's a risk of them being believed as well as being not believed. You don't know what the chances are. You don't know what the person they'll be talking to about this theory is, if they're crazy or not, if they're going to believe it or not, what their connections to very important people are or not. You don't know. There's a lot of risks to just saying to a random person, hey, I'm a Martian. It just so happens that this random person takes off his hat and reveals a third eye. He's from Venus, and he's here to intercept the Martian invasion. I think he's trying to get into Earth via the Venus. This Martian guy got really lucky. And I like the Venus guy. He's very comedic. It was a very comedic ending, but if you think about it, it's like, doesn't really make that much sense why the Martian would tell just a random person his plans. This is the part of the episode which leans more so towards a writerly ending versus realistic stuff, versus the earlier part of the episode, very realistic in how these people would react to the idea that the one of them might be a Martian and they don't know who, and the Martian looks like a person. I like this episode a lot. I definitely don't like it as much as the other episodes, though. I remember the dialogue being snippy. I remember there being a lot of tension. I just don't remember exactly what the dialogue contents were, but I do remember the ending very starkly because I was like, this is really funny, and I liked that ending. Let me know what you think of this episode. This episode takes place mostly within the cafe, pretty much. And the cafe is pretty darkly lit, and it's lit in such a way, and it's colored in such a way, that when it's filmed in the black and white, every single thing that is needed to stand out will stand out. And I know, as a person watching this television series, I know what to look at with my eyes. So, I gotta give this one, it's a solid 7.3 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another on the platform to like, set $20 daily, patreon.com/ASEPresents. One movie review per 1 month. Go to Slate Tree Sports, the daily grindiness of all them daily movies. So go here. And until next time, mint salad sauce. See you later, my side croutons and bacon bits. I'm gonna go fight a Martian now. I'm sure there's some around. I mean, if there's one in this episode, that means there's like a million out there. And I have to find one. Goodbye.